It's so easy to see and call out other people who procrastinate, but so difficult to see when we are sabotaging our own success. So I want to share with you how I notice that I procrastinate and give you 3 keys that can help you beat procrastination so that you can relax more into your next level of life and success. But before we dive into those 3 keys, it's time to reflect on the paradox of wanting. If you're new to this channel, my name is Camilla Kalberg and I help women leaders enjoy more of life, create greater results by regulating emotions, building inner safety so that you show up with authenticity and power to serve. We want something so badly, but we feel so uncomfortable stepping into the unknown. For us to achieve something new, we have to take new actions, otherwise we stay in our comfort zone. And if we stay in our comfort zone, we get the same results. So that's the paradox of wanting. We want something so badly, but we feel so uncomfortable stepping into the unknown. And there I was, once again, but it's responding now, but wanted a different outcome. I tapped into a recent training that reminded me of, if you get the same results, you need to shift. You need to do something differently. All right, what is that? And I banged my head into this invisible wall of fear. Fear of reaching out to people, because what if? What if I suddenly couldn't find my words? What if I suddenly couldn't breathe? What if? All that fear was showing up. Okay, I want this, but I do this. And I worked through those fears. And it got me to think about all my clients I love so much, where they procrastinate as well. We all procrastinate if we really want to be vulnerable. And it got me to pause and wanted to create this video for you. Because oftentimes in corporate, we procrastinate, or you procrastinate on the activities that would create the greatest results for you, that would move your needle the fastest. You procrastinate on these activities out of fear, out of what if I say no to them who need me as well? So you prioritize other people, which means that you procrastinate your own activities. But that's a 2x mindset. We're not going into that mindset today, but that is a book called 2x versus 10x mindset. In the 2x mindset, we get incremental growth. When we have a to-do list that is so long, and every time someone is knocking on our door, we are the people pleaser and we want to help and we prioritize them first, right? But we forget us. But the 10x mindset, we actually know what's most important for us. And I was thinking about how often we get trapped into wanting to help others. And I want to share. I was giving this piece of advice. Apply to be on 3 podcasts every single day. All right, it sounds so easy and so basic how to apply to be on a podcast, right? But first of all, it requires that you know what you're talking about and you feel comfortable about sharing your stories. So that was one thing I had to become familiar with. But then finding podcasts, and you get to listen to the podcast and write something really relatable in your outreach. And I found that tedious. And when you find something tedious, you're leaking energy and it's not going to be fun. But everything you do with a positive mindset and a lot of fun, it gets fun. I loved always being on podcasts, but the doing of getting me on podcasts maybe is not something I always enjoyed. But I found a way how to quicker tune into the podcast, to find what is relatable and tune my story into that. And going to procrastination, there was a mentor who said to me a couple of years ago, if we don't follow through, how trustworthy are we? Why don't we bet on ourselves? When I was procrastinating, reaching out to podcast hosts, why did I procrastinate that? Because I know it's so important for me to be on these podcasts, to share my story, to reach more people. It's my calling to help you grow. And diving in on the manifesting mastery with Mind Valley, manifestation only shows up when you have shifted your identity. And I sat with that realization and said, what is my identity when I procrastinate? Do I want to be that person who procrastinates? What's most important in my life? Most important for my business? Business not to make money, but business to help other women grow. This is up deep right now. And I said to myself, no, damn not. I want to be that person who procrastinate what matters. Whoo, this is deep. So we want to beat procrastination because you procrastinate what's most important. And it goes in all areas of life, because if we do not keep our word in one area, very likely you procrastinate in other areas of your life. I procrastinated when I wanted to split up the family. And I'm the one that did that. But I procrastinated that decision for 2 years. It had an impact on my wealth, health, mental health, performance, happiness, the whole shebang. It impacted me. But I was a victim of my own emotions. I played less than. I had too small a identity to actually prioritize myself. And it comes circle back to what I shared before, when what I see in my practice and in my circles is that most women, they procrastinate what is most important for their lives, for their career, to serve someone else. And it's time to reclaim your power. It's time to reclaim your future. It's time to reclaim time so that you work on what matters for you. This is not to say that you get to be selfish, because it's absolutely not. But we also get to prioritize ourselves, because, and I'm thinking about one particular client right now, if we don't prioritize ourselves, we get drained, and it is leaking, and we just don't feel fulfilled, and it has huge consequences. Not feeling well within, that leads to a body in decoherence, and we want to be in coherence. So we want to beat procrastination. The 3 keys I want to give you is, number 1, what is it that you really, really want? I picked up this book. How could we benefit from this book today? I was curious about page 18, what that could tell us and teach us. And very interestingly, how to enjoy the return of bottom lining. John Maxwell says the process of bottom lining thinking begins with knowing what you are really going after. Many people do not know what they really, really want. You're not being measured by how much you help other people succeed. You are your own business. So step number 1 is to know what you really, really want. And I know it takes some time, but it's so worth it. And it's even more powerful when you start to own it, because then people start to respect you even more. Step number 2, what actions do you need to take each and every day to get to where you want to go? And what fear is showing up so you don't take the necessary actions? That fear, see it as green flag. Love your fear so much, because that fear, when you beat that fear, when you learn to dance with that fear becomes your trampoline into that next level. You're going to be so proud of yourself when you dance with your fear. The better you become. If you're truly committed to your own growth, what do you no longer tolerate to procrastinate? Drop it in the comment below. I'd love to celebrate with you. And if you enjoyed it, subscribe to this channel. It will help the channel grow. And share this video with someone you love. Thank you for being here. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one.